you live from California. We have the awesome legend, the most positive person that I've seen in spiritual TikTok, Meagan the Mermaid.
But I do cuss, in case you were asking that. You know, I'm spiritual as fuck. That's how we do it. That's how we roll.
Hey, you guys already know she's real, right? Because us truly spiritual people, we kind of had enough. It's the last couple of years. It's love and light, but it's like, dude, enough. The really spiritual one, like, we don't tell people how to live, so cursing makes me trust you more.
You know what? It wakes people's consciousness up. Sometimes it's what you need to kind of just be like, oh, okay, I'm listening now, you know?
Yes. Yes. So, guys, for those of you who don't know,
hi, everybody.
why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how it is coming out in California. Just walk us through who you are, what you're about. Because, guys, I'm telling you, when I started on spiritual TikTok, there's people I looked up to. I still look up to you. So.
Aw, it feels so nice to hear that. Thank you, Jonah. You as well. So my name is Meagan Mermaid, and I'm a galactic guide and a channel for galactic consciousness. So I myself am an oracle, and I work with the High Council of Sirian Elders and the Mermaids of Sirius. But I'm also kind of like, you could call me like an intergalactic diplomat. So basically a big part of my role is to connect starseeds with their star families. And I sort of act as like a translator of messages to them. And then I also really love working with starseeds and figuring out how to activate their creative genius and their divine potential and how to be a really successful human while still being magical and unique.
So, yes. So look, okay. So guys, my chat is already lining up. Look how we're like little kids. Keep going, keep going. No, that's amazing. So again, I've never talked to a guide or a galactic channeler. What does that entail? Do you have 401k benefits? Is there an HR department?
Oh man, you know what? I'm still discussing like the terms and conditions, so that's a good thing to figure out. Yeah, generally, it's like through a guided, channeled experience. So I have like my gifts of clairaudience and clairvoyance. So, you know, I'll walk clients through a visionary experience where their guides will come through to me. And then I'm sort of just like a translator for like another language or sign language. I'm basically just like, they're telling you this, they're seeing this, I'm seeing that. And then my role is to kind of just get them connected and then give them the tools and the ideas so that they can continue to build and establish those relationships.
That's awesome. And guys, I'm going to stop again and say, wait, I'm so excited to have you on. Number one, it's really kind of funny because you have the same name as my mom. I told you that.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
But this is a chance of healing. You know, like a lot of times people get presented in our lives that we get do-overs. And I know it's just a name and I'm not comparing. I'm just saying, like, it's a really beautiful experience to get to meet you. I just had a question for you. What is your advice on how do we collectively wake up the world? Because we don't listen. Here's the thing, and I want to say this because I'm sure you agree. Not most of us, all of us really don't. The really woke ones that are really like real. We don't care what anybody thinks about us anymore. We gave up all that fear of judgment. Me personally, I came out as an alien, as an extraterrestrial on 11/11. They didn't lock me up in the. They didn't lock me up in the loony bin. They didn't arrest me. Nothing bad happened. Literally, people were like, yeah, I mean, it's possible. So what's your advice? How do we wake up I call normal people normies. How do we wake them up?
I love that you call them normies. I call them muggles. So great question. I think you really hit on part of it of, you know, stepping into your authenticity, not being afraid to be who you are, not hiding it or watering it down anymore.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Nobody can hear us in the chat. Oh. No, come on, bro. They don't want this message. I'm not gonna say it. So here's let me just tell you this for a second while it's doing what it's doing. I want to give you some advice too. One thing that I've noticed, and I prefer not to talk about technology because I don't want to feed into the negativity, but we realize we have a powerful message, and I'm getting the chills right now saying this. And so when we acknowledge lag and think, like, I'm not going to say whatever, but we realize views slow down, all these things slow down because our message is being heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you
Guys,
perfect.
can you guys hear us now?
Yeah,
Or,
Leah's saying I can hear you. People are saying I can hear you both fine. Great. Okay. Yeah,
okay.
it might be on the user side. So I would just invite that person maybe to try logging out and logging in again.
Okay. We're good to go.
Yay, great.
Sorry
Awesome.
about that.
But no, that's actually an important message. And that's why, like calling in like protection and energy fields and blessing the technology before we go live is also a really fun and important way to kind of support that. But yeah, so as I was sharing, a big part of this is authenticity, not watering down our message, not hiding any parts of ourselves, because the more we're seen, actually, the safer that we are. Really, that's how it is. So what we can do is we can create an option. A lot of people are choosing an option of suffering right now. And as a free will planet, we absolutely have that option. But the more people that are choosing to be their weird little magical selves and thriving, we are showing people that there is still an option to choose joy and to have fun and to literally like make this planet as amazing as possible, no matter what is going on around us or what the media or anyone else is trying to tell us is happening.
And I'm glad you said that. So I give, again, I say my role in this whole thing was to wake up the 144. Don't ask me why. Well, I know why I was chosen, because I've literally been everybody. I'm black, I'm white, I'm biracial, I've been rich, I've been poor, I've been fat, I've been skinny. I was a narcissist. Like my arm almost got amputated. I had 12 surgeries to save my arm.
Goodness.
I still can't use a fork. All of these things had to happen. And so I know my role in this was to wake up the 144. But I want to say this for those who are new here. When we talk about upgrading and 3D and 5D, these terms, I say this every live, it's the third and the fifth dimension. It's not a place, it's a state of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
We are all ascending. Those ascension symptoms, the ears ringing, the repetitive numbers, the headaches, the heart palpitations, the anxiety, those things are your body being downloaded with information, upgrading to a higher version of yourself. The fifth dimension is a place of love and giving and about your brother and paying it forward. So
absolutely.
I always kind of give these little basic things, and I know people know that, but we got to kind of put it in there so we don't lose people. Anyways, I love what you're saying so far. I got a really quick, what's a mermaid?
Great question. So, I identify as a galactic mermaid. So, just as there's like mermaids here on Earth, there are mermaids in other star systems. And the mermaids of Sirius, they are a collective energy of angelic beings that support in the energy of the mermaid, which is like really just this energy of coming back to the feminine, feeling safe in the feminine energy, being embodied, and using finding this connection between like spirituality and sensuality. Like if you think of a mermaid, they are absolutely 100% embodied, and that is it's so important right now, especially if we identify with a galactic energy. A lot of starseeds, especially as we begin to wake up, might feel safer in these higher chakras up here. But in order to be a successful human, which is our role here and why we decided to come as a light worker or a starseed or whatever our mission is, we have to be grounded in our bodies and we have to be present. And so the mermaids really support that process.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because I'm thinking of the movie. I don't know how old you are. We haven't really talked yet, but what's the movie with the mermaid with like Tom Hanks and Manhattan?
Oh, Splash. Yeah. Is it with
Splash.
Hannah?
That's how old I am. I'm thinking about Splash. I'm like, when you really go, here's the thing, guys, too. When you really go through what we went through, and everybody's had some kind of difficulty or whatever in life. Like when you really wake up and you start having dreams and visions and downloads and all this stuff, you realize every single thing is possible. I say that life is like this. It's a little bit of Bible. It's a lot of bit of aliens. It's a lot of bit of science fiction. Like literally, it's kind of a little bit of everything. Everything's possible. There's been multiple civilizations. We know we live in the Matrix. When somebody comes to you and they say, okay, sell me on the fact that you're real, or sell me that, how do you know what you know? Or you know, how do you, or most of us are out of the proving ourselves business. I don't do that. But if a prospective person, what do you tell them? How do you show them that, hey, I'm real? Or do you just not?
Yeah. Great question. I think it is so important to bring that up. So I'm not in the role of trying to convince anyone of anything. Generally, as we get to a certain place, and I love that you're there too, we're going to attract all of the people that want our medicine. And so you could be sharing the same message as me, but there will be certain people that are attracted to your message and certain people that are attracted to mine or another person. And that's why the more voices that are here, the more availability this message can be, because it's literally pretty much the same regardless of how you package it or put it in a mermaid or put it in anything else. And I feel like our role is just to basically say, hey, like, I found my truth, this is what works for me. I would love to invite you to find what your truth is, because your truth is going to look different than mine, but we can still teach each other through our embodiment that it's possible to live our truth and not have to hide, like you said, not be in a mental institution for saying I'm an alien. Like, we're giving people this opportunity that, like, this is okay. Like, we can absolutely embody all of these things and not be afraid or hide out anymore.
How many of you guys know that she's one of us, right? How many of you guys can feel her confidence and you just know she has a pure good soul? Like, I say that to say there's a lot of people that impersonate us. It hurts our cause. You have fake tarot readers. And look, man, if you're a love and light and you care about people, I struggle with this. But stop, like, there's people that literally copy our stories, and they you can read up on a starseed and try to get our gifts, but like, it's just, it really hurts our cause. So to meet good pure energy, it just feels so good. How long have you been awake?
I feel the same. Thank you, Jonah, for being real and pure and authentic. It's so important. And I would say that my journey started about 6 years ago. I was living a completely different life. I was married. I had a prestigious job in a nonprofit, all sorts of things. I was living in a different area. And as I went through my Saturn return, which happens generally around the time we're between 29 and 31, and when Saturn returns, whatever's not in alignment with your path and your purpose starts to shift. So I realized this wasn't the life that I was supposed to be living, and all sorts of experiences happened. I was drawn to mentors and teachers, and I began to study astrology and tarot. And then, slowly I discovered my role as a channel. And then it took several years for me to develop the skills and the muscle, because channeling is actually a muscle. Just as we build our bodies, we have to build our spiritual gifts. So it took me several years to work to a place where I could begin to embody the high frequency energy of the galactic energy that I work with. So I feel like just about this year at the Lionsgate portal, which began on July 26th at the beginning of the Galactic New Year, which actually happens to be my birthday, interestingly enough. Wow. Yeah. So if you've never followed the Galactic calendar, it's a really cool thing I'd be happy to share more about. And sure. In the last couple months, I finally got the message very strongly. Like, I was talking about the mermaids, I was doing astrology, but I wasn't talking about starseeds. There was still a part of me that was like, are people going to think I'm crazy? Are they going to think I'm weird? Like, am I going to stink my business? And they're just like, no, like, you got to say this message. You've got to stand up. And like, literally since then, things have skyrocketed for me. And I feel like you've kind of experienced the same thing, haven't you, Jonah?
That's how this thing works, guys. Here's a message that I really need to get to you. By the way, how many do you not guys? I love her. I love her already. And I know we all met before we got here, and we had this plan. Yes, hey, let's go save the normies and the muggles. Let's go save
yeah.
But
let's tell them how much fun we're having.
I mean, the thing is, I'll say this to start. My version of a spiritual awakening is going back to that little boy, that little baby Jonah. I had a hard childhood. It's neither here nor there. I'm not even speaking on that. But my version, it's a journey within yourself, a spiritual awakening. It's going back and healing that little child and telling that child, this wasn't your fault. Because a lot of the things that happen then shape us for our entire lives. And so, that for me was kind of like, I had all these false starts in life, right? I was still a happy kid and I kept going, kept going. Grew up with a single white mom in a trailer park. I used to call myself the half black Eminem. You know, Eminem the rapper. I'm sorry, mama. Anyways, so I say that to say, I got really lucky. When I was 22, I became a million. I pawned everything I had and turned $600 into $1 million in cash in less than 6 months. Then by the age of 28, I had 11 businesses, 7 game rooms, 2 bars, a car wash, and a high stakes poker game with an NBA player. I still couldn't get right. I was numbing myself all those years for the things that happened to me, and I didn't realize it. I was numbing myself with alcohol, drugs, gambling, women. I mean, people. You can numb yourself with people too, and that's kind of the worst addiction, because when you realize we're all energy, and that we say stay away from the energy vampires. One of the analogies I use is, imagine it's a food court, right? And so a food court, they have the little toothpicks with the meat on it. And people come and they take samples. They never put back. They just take it. They don't even buy anything,
yeah.
right? And so they use the analogy of a gas pump. They come and take, it's like gas. They come fill up off your gas, your energy, and they leave you there in shambles. I say that to say all these false starts, up and down, millionaire to homeless 3 times, died 3 times. 2 times I drowned, and another time I had something really bad happen, but I lived. Wow. All that came into fruition, and I go to Europe for 2 weeks on this epic vacation, because throughout that, I was overweight my whole life. Like, I wore a shirt in the pool till I was 26. I finally lost 65 pounds, best shape of my life, epic vacation. I twerked on a boat in front of 2,000 people. I won the sexiest chicken legs contest. But it was like life was throwing me one last bone, because I had ego again. When I had money, I had ego. I was a loving person, but I could be a jerk sometimes. That then comes home. I get humbled. My family has German restaurants. So at Oktoberfest, my stepfather's from Austria. His name's Hans, on a side note. But anyways, I'm arm wrestling on stage in front of 1,000 people. I literally snapped my humerus on stage, and then I got 2 bone infections, and they had, one arm is 4 inches shorter. Like when you talk, that's when the beings started visiting me. That's when I started having visions. And literally, I realized I was kind of a jerk. Actually, I was really a jerk, like all those situations, but I realized I was unhealed. So then all of these things open up. When you open that portal and you stimulate your third eye and you're really connected, then you start realize you're more and more in tune. I started having dreams and manifesting things. And so that's kind of how I got here. Along the way, I ended up at the Department of Homeland Security. They literally threatened to kill me. They took me in a room. Like, Starseeds and light workers, we've been tracked our whole lives by our social security numbers. It's not like we're not hunted. They can't hurt us. That's the thing. But they energetically manipulate us. So I know I went off on a little tangent there, but that's kind of my backstory. It all starts with tragedy. We all went through something that pushed us to search for more. Because now, as far as your real world friends and stuff, do you have any friends that are normal, like that aren't awake, or no?
A few, yeah. Some that they, we will just do muggle things. A lot of them are like my mom friends, and they'll follow me and they know what I do, but they don't really like talk too much about it. But mostly, I've noticed, like, throughout my spiritual journey, my circle keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm okay with that. It's funny, I don't know if you can relate to this at all, but even though my role is to be a public figure, oh hi Johnny, good to see you. I'm actually very introverted, so it can be very challenging sometimes to kind of balance those aspects. So like, I'm totally fine just being out in Joshua Tree, just channeling aliens for days, but I also have to come back and share the messages.
That's so, guys. So one of the places I want to go before I die is Joshua Tree, because I saw it on an episode of Entourage with Vinny Chase. And I was like, man, I want to go do shrooms out there. But anyways, I always see you with those nature scenes. That's really cool. I understand. I literally, we speak the same language. You start vibrating. As you vibrate and you start reaching higher levels of consciousness and remembering who you were, you literally vibrate so high that people just kind of naturally gravitate towards out of your life. I don't push my beliefs on anybody. I just live my life, and it's not for everybody. I'm a high vibrational being. So for you, what's it like out there? I mean, like I know you said you have that normie circle. Do you have, are you friends with a lot of awakened? Have you met your soul tribe? Because I know you're a public figure. We'll talk more about what you do, some other things you do, but have you met your tribe?
I have, yeah, and they continue to come in little by little, and so it's just been a really beautiful process. And I feel like TikTok has been a big part of it. And the more that I become authentic in who I am, the more people I start to meet. And you just know, it's like there's this familiarity where even if you've just met someone for a day or an hour or a live, there's this, excuse me, must be some throat chakra clearing. There's just this energy of knowing like your family.
Yeah, no, and that you feel it, and that's one thing I say. The reason I think the reason that my message has resonated with so many people is because I've been keeping it real on live ever since. And I know, you know, you're obviously a beautiful woman and you're a positive, amazing being. You have your teaching style and I have mine. We're basically, like you said, I'm a little more rough around the edges, but it's just, I've cried on 7 lives in the last 3 weeks. And I tell you why. Almost every time I ugly cried, but I tell you why. If you've ever felt misunderstood your entire life, if people said you had ego when you know you didn't, when you know everything you did came from a good place, but they said you're arrogant or you're cocky and they don't know what you're going through, or you felt misunderstood, or your brain, because we have ADHD, it processes, I can think about 10 different things at the same time. I'm literally multitasking always. When you feel misunderstood your whole life and misjudged and never felt loved, and then you find a community like TikTok. I was never into social media. I didn't FaceTime before TikTok. I don't even like FaceTiming. And now here we are. That's what happens. And I asked you this because you said 6 years. I'm going to just ask this for you in the chat. How many of you guys, even a year ago, you don't even recognize yourself? You're reading about Nikola Tesla and Dolores Cannon, and you're looking up the Pleiades star cluster. Now you longer, I know, because you stepped into your role longer. But most of us in the last 2 years, my awakening started in 2019. I don't recognize myself, and damn it, I love myself.
Yeah.
How about you?
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. I mean, even just a few months ago to now, and even if I look at pictures, and this is what happens is the more that we become our authentic true self and our actual energy shifts, like we start to look different, we vibrate different, we feel different, we're not that same being. And I love what you shared, Jonah, about just being so transparent and so open on your lives. I feel like I've experienced the same thing from going live pretty much every single day since October. You know, there'll be times where there's stories that I've kept, like, for example, my journey with plant medicines and ayahuasca and psychedelics. My mentors had told me before, don't share that with people. They will not take you seriously. So I hid that part of myself for so long. And I've started to share about that, my own journey out of drug abuse. Like all my, I'll share like real-time stories of what I'm going through and with a narcissistic abusive co-parent. You know, and then there's vanity things too as a Leo, where sometimes I'm live and I have a magnetic lash on it starts to fall off, and I keep going and I say, this is leadership, this is real, you know, what are you gonna do? Like, you basically, like, leadership is the most accelerated way to step into your truth, because you're doing it with everybody watching. So you're basically not any better than anyone, but you know, you just have a little bit more responsibility because you have that accountability.
So I'm going to ask you this, but I feel like I know the answer to this question. So when you become healed, and by the way, guys, I say this every life too. The reason I can sympathize and empathize so much is because all those years of being gaslit and being around narcissists and treated differently, I turned into that same jerk. So I can see the other aspect.
Yeah.
Psychedelics dissolved my ego. I literally obliterated it. I cried and cried and cried. So it worked for me. But I say that to say, and I don't know if you're married or you're dating, but when you go out with somebody, do you overshare? Because I literally, when I'm not dating or anything, I'm single, but when I go out, I literally just throw a whole pile of shit on the table and say, look, if you can deal with this, I'm healed. but this is what I went through. If you can deal with this, if you text me back tomorrow, then maybe we can go out again. But typically I'm not going to go out with anybody I need somebody that vibrates on my level. I'm past 3D living. It's done for me. But for you, do you overshare a lot, or do you find yourself, the typical stuff? Because we have to be honest. We literally know that we can't lie, because that's our soul and it's karma. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I feel like I kind of went on that journey this year where I dated a lot at the beginning of the year, and I just kept becoming more intentional about what I was looking for. And then when that person didn't meet those needs with feminine energy, like I, was very honest about that, because I feel like what I do want to share, since we're on the process of dating, is that ghosting is very common in these days, but it's actually not energetically sovereign, and it's not karmically okay, because we create these soul ties with people that are not complete. So, it's important that we develop ways to be transparent about, like, it felt so nice to get to know you. It felt so nice to connect with you. I don't feel that we're a match at this time, but I love spending time with you. Learning how to be just very open and transparent is so important. And because of that, I feel that I'm at a place now where I'm only attracting someone that would be that mirror of the masculine of where I'm at now. And so, just recently I've had that experience where I was like, wow, like, you are literally like the male version of me. Like, is this real? Did I really manifest you? So it is possible. Like, it is possible to find that authentic truth and that authentic partnership.
Here's and I'm so glad you said that. When you 100% tell the truth, and you're honest, and this is who I am, and I love myself, your opinion of me doesn't matter. I literally it's not just love. I'm ridiculously in love with myself. When you do that, you have to attract what you want. Like law of attraction. That's law of attraction 101. You can't expect, I want a millionaire who buys me a Bentley, and he's got a 6-pack, and he's 6'6", and he texts back right away. Like, there's a lot of people have lofty lists, but when you find your person, or you find your soulmate, or you find your whatever, it just makes sense, and they get us. It's effortless. I personally haven't found that yet. I went through this period. Do you remember the movie Good Luck, Chuck?
Yeah.
I was Dane Cook. If I slept with you, you were getting your soulmate within 6 months. That was me. I was good luck for everybody but me. That's the honest truth. And so a lot of us go through these type of things. So it's good to hear. Guys, by the way, could you listen to Meagan Mermaid explain anything to you all day? She could tell me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'll be like, I believe her. Cut the crust.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I feel the same. It's such a great conversation.
Yes, easy. I've never met anyone like her.
Oh,
they're enjoying the hell out of this live.
Oh, it feels really nice to hear that and to be acknowledged for that. Thank you so much.
Even we got the 100Ks in here. They're hanging out with us mortals. The 100Ks in here saying, "Man, we like your content." You get great content. So, anyways, let me ask you this: did you experience anything with childhood issues, or no? Did you have a pretty good? So do you feel like? Don't you feel like most of us were here to break ancestral curses and things like that? Because a lot of the things, I know a lot of this stuff could be mental, because I say this as somebody who had physical pain. The emotional scars people leave behind throughout the years, those are the rough ones. But when you realize how energetically gifted we were, that a starseed or a light worker, we are born different, all 144,000. Our bodies as a healed individual vibrates at 70 million to 1 of that of an unhealed normie, as we call them. And so looking back, like, did you feel like you broke that? I mean, obviously you raised your kids different. And because then moving, the part 2 of that question is, are you going to obviously I know the answer to this, but are you going to raise your kids and harness their gifts and teach and all the way? Or are you already doing that? Or so part 1 is breaking generational curses. Part 2 is how you parent.
Yeah, great question, Jonah. Absolutely. In my 30s was when I started to get back like all of the repressed memories of the deep, deep childhood trauma that I experienced. And so a part of my own curriculum is like walking people through how to parent yourself through that trauma. And, as a starseed, we do to some extent have a soul contract to choose to go through those experiences. Now, I say this in a way not to, say that we as a are in a victim state and we deserved those things. We just knew as a soul that we were strong enough to overcome them and to overcome and heal those ancestral patterns and abuse and all of the things. So definitely it's not always easy, and we're not always going to be recognized for that, especially in our family. We can often be demonized or scapegoated for that, and gaslit in some ways. So I feel like a lot of us too have to go through this process of our healing where we don't need a proof or validation to start healing. We can learn how to parent ourselves in this moment, whether anyone recognizes or believes that this trauma occurred or not. And, I really feel grateful that I was able to heal so much on my own before I had my daughter, who's now 15 months. And she's just such a beautiful, awakened being. And the journey of motherhood is so activating in itself. And, my intention for her is, of course, to cultivate those powerful gifts and develop this open relationship with her where, as much as a mother, I'd like to protect her from certain things. I'm just the way shower for her, creating that safe environment for her to explore and go through her own soul lessons. So parenting is a process of 100% unconditional love and 100% letting go all of the time.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing as a mother. And this is going to sound really bad, but how many of you guys wish she was your mom? Oh my God. But no, I say that to say,
yeah.
For those of you who don't know who we are or what we are, I'm personally a Pleiadian starseed and an ascended master. And an ascended master just means I already came to Earth. I passed the test. I decided to come back. And this life has been very, very challenging. We were the gifted kids in the class. For those of you who don't know, life has already been lived. The past, the present, the future has already occurred. Those repeating numbers, here's a high level concept. Yeah. I want to get your opinion because this is not my opinion. This is my truth personally. Okay. But yeah. Because I have seen the future. Like I have had very futuristic dreams that were very real. Because of the fact that life has already been lived. Those numerical codes that you're seeing, 111, 222, 333, those codes are codes that you've been communicating with yourself. That is you telling you. If you're an empath, if you're a light worker, if you're a starseed, we have literally been reading energy since we were kids. We know when somebody lies to us in real time. We know when what really sucks about that part of it is that when somebody we care about lies to us and we know, like, we don't even call them out on it. It's like the people who speak Spanish that are light complected, that they play dumb, right? It's like this. When we read energy, I let people think they're going to win on me. And I can play dumb as you want me to play. But energetically speaking, I know what game you're playing. I just want to see how far you're going to go. I don't do that anymore, but I'm just saying. I say that to say those numerical codes, every time you weren't supposed to date that person, every time you weren't supposed to loan that money, that is you. That gut instinct you had is you telling you, hey, buddy, that's danger. But you ignored it. You ignored it and you did it anyway, and you typically got punished. What is your opinion on that?
I love that. That's a great way. And I love what you shared about it's you telling you, because you're right. In quantum reality, there are multiple timelines, and our future us is actually coming back to help us to get to this space. So I love the repeating numbers, the synchronicities. I feel like because we live in this matrix, everything is a messaging system. And once we start to be aware of those things, we can assign the meaning to them. And a lot of times it's very helpful because when we're on the manifesting journey, it takes time for our thoughts to become feelings, which emit vibrations that magnetize our reality to us. us. So in that space where our external world is not yet matching up to our thoughts, we can start looking for those synchronicities. And it's like, hey, like you're on the right track. Like that future self is telling you, you've got this. Like just keep paying attention to the breadcrumbs, to these messages. And sometimes, like you said, Jonah, the message is that lesson was something for you to wake up, and that you don't have to learn through suffering anymore. You can actually do this in a fun way. Like this is your game. You can begin to learn the laws of form, learn the rules so that you can break the rules. Like we can live outside. It's just like the terms, we're in this world, but not of it. Jesus was actually Palladian, and a lot of his teachings were Palladian. So,
hold on. I've been making TikToks about Jesus was a Palladian starseed. Guys, now it feels so good. It feels so good to get back up because we all speak the same language. Yes, yeah. Jesus was a starseed, guys. It's a little bit of futuristic. It's a little computer. It's a little everything. We're energetic beings. She understands and she gets it. Are you guys enjoying this live? Jesus. They're saying she's a great communicator. Say it again, Maggie.
Thank you so much.
They called you Maggie. Say it again, Maggie.
Y'all are so sweet. I feel so grateful to be here with you.
Awesome, because the thing about it is I tell everybody, listen, man, everybody has a path to enlightenment. 144 is the chakra. Jesus was a man. God is real. God is energy, but God is not a white dude with a mullet or a black dude or a woman. God is everything. God is energy. We are many gods co-creating with God, who is the source of everything. When you understand that, you realize we do live in the matrix too. We literally, like, there have been so many civilizations. There's pyramids on the bottom of the ocean. They have pyramids on Mars. They found a pyramid in Alaska. We thought only indigenous people could build them. We have all these UFOs. We never see little green men. 4 billion smartphones. That's because Earth has rules like gravity. Yeah. I say that to say, what are some of the, have you seen little green men before? I mean, not under the influence, we can all channel our beings. I know that. But straight up sober, have you ever seen a little green man saying, take me to your leader? Have you ever seen that?
Unfortunately, no, I haven't. I would actually really enjoy seeing that. And, but I love that you brought that point up because, you know, we live in an interdimensional universe, and we can actually only see certain things. And that's why what can feel a little bit scary if we're not aware of it, but it's actually not scary because, as you said, nothing can hurt us, that there is a lot of dark agendas that are happening interdimensionally, energetically, that we cannot see. And therefore, because we cannot see it, it's very easy to gaslight and to say that these things are not happening. You know, a lot of us have different gifts. So if those of us who are gifted, like with a very, with a lot of times we may not actually see an alien standing in front of us, but we could have dreams, or we could have visions, or, you know, a lot of the times the beings that come to me, because they're such high frequency beings, and it's challenging to shapeshift into our third dimensional space to be seen. A lot of times they'll come through as light, like pillars of light, but there are lower, a little bit lower energies, such as the Palladian is a little bit lower, where, you know, sometimes they will look like a very tall being, or Lyrans are kind of like cat-like, and the Arcturians, they can actually be seen in form, but a lot of times they'll sort of, it'll kind of be like, have you ever seen something like out of the corner of your eye, like, oh, like, did I see something, or did I imagine that? A lot of times that's a way that like these types of beings will interact with us. But of course it's all you know, our level of safety and our energetic boundaries, because sometimes it might be too affronting for our consciousness to actually see them. So we energetically are choosing how we interact with all of those things.
It is so refreshing to hear this. Now I got another question.
Sure.
Because again, you see how giddy I am? That the chat says, look how happy I am. Well, I did have a little bit of cannabis, but I'm happy. I'm happy anyway because Meagan the Mermaid's here. So Meagan, I'm gonna. Have you heard voices before? Because I have, and a lot of people have, and we're embarrassed a lot of people are embarrassed to say because they don't want to be perceived as crazy. But it's a real thing. Have you had, you've clearly you have, but to talk a little bit about and some of the messages that you've gotten channeled, or that for me, for example, here's another example. How many of you guys have been in dangerous situations that something really, really bad should have happened? Like, I don't know, you get hit by a car, like where you were communicated with to not do something. And like for me, I was about to run into a crash when I was driving one day. And literally I was literally texting and I heard, get off the phone, stop texting. There's nobody in the car. The car braked. The car literally electronically braked on itself. I'm driving completely sober, 10 in the morning. I threw my phone on the ground and it kept me from hitting a car in front of me. So for you, have you had anything like that happen, or is it just pretty much been guided messages?
Yeah, 100%. I love that you shared that message because I've experienced both polarities of it. You know, as a kid, I was very awakened, and there was the family that I had, you know, certain members in my family were connected to Luciferian agendas, and so I would hear things or see things, and it was very scary. And so when I was about 15, I was like, nope, I'm turning this shit off. And like, until I was 30, like it was nothing. I was completely 100% muggle. And then I discovered that like I had sovereignty and boundaries over what I allowed in. And there have been times where I do hear voices externally because my gift is clairaudience, is my most activated gift. Most of the time I will hear an inner voice, and I always know, like sometimes I know it's my higher self, sometimes I know it's my high counsel or my guides, but like I always listen, always. And it is it's astounding how you know, it always gives us the exact message that we need. And I love that you shared about these death or near-death experiences that you've had, because I experienced that as well. In 2008, I was in a near-fatal car accident, and that's when I actually had my walk-in moment. So a higher aspect of me like stepped in at that time, because the other version of me that had been operating within my body for those first 22 years was at a place of trauma that was so deep, it would not have been easy or attainable for me to reach the level of consciousness that I needed to be in order to step into this message and this purpose that I have. So it took 11 years to integrate that, from 22 to about 33. And then once that happened, I was like, oh, wow, okay, yes, I am fully 100% a Syrian being, and this is what I'm doing here. And like, so it's a really powerful journey.
I'm so glad you said that. And I want to reiterate this. I'm not going to talk about the 3 waves of volunteers, but what I am going to say is, I feel like you, like me, most of us in this chat had a harder time in life than anybody else we knew, emotionally, physically, financially. We just had weird, like, no matter how good life would get, it would get bad. It was like, it's this roller coaster. And a lot of it was us, we couldn't get out of our own way. And I'm speaking more towards me. I made a lot of mistakes. I abused myself for years. Okay. But I say that to say, when you look back, I have this analogy, Megan. There's this, I live in Clear Lake. I live 5 minutes from NASA, ironically, where the conspiracy started. I live right by NASA, okay? So I live in Clear Lake, and I made this TikTok that said, if we're on the edge of a lake, and the lake was a mile long, and on the other side of that lake was everything you ever wanted, all your hopes, all your dreams, dream relationship, dream car, I mean, all the money you ever wanted. If you swam on a mile on the other side of that lake and you got there, you could have it, would you go? And every single person says yes. But I say the water represents PTSD, anxiety, depression. Every time you've ever been hurt, literally, like everything. Would you still do it? I can hold your hand and I'll help you along the way. It's a journey to you. You have to do it, but I can help you. Would you do it? And they say, oh, no, 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 no. And that's the thing. We were the gifted kids in the class. When you look back at your life, you realized we're such high vibrational beings that everything had to happen the way it did. We were in a training course that really shaped us like a stone in the sand. You get shifted around, but it makes you tougher. It makes you tougher. It makes you tougher. And I bet you, because I bet you now you're strong. You're the strongest you've ever been in your life. Nobody could ever, unwavering faith. Nobody could ever break you of your thoughts and your opinions. Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Nobody can gaslight you or make you feel like. And so I say that to say, looking back at your life, you realize it was a test, right? And it had to happen the way it did.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that analogy of the lake so much because it's so true. And we might not realize it's especially in these past couple of years, it's been very intense. So I love that you shared how it's like the lake itself is very small. It's actually a very short amount of time in the span of our life that we would have to courageously look at this stuff. But it's like if we can choose, and this is why we're way showers who are courageous enough to do this. It's like we decide to spend a certain portion of our life experiencing trauma and then healing the trauma. But then once we pass that, it's like smooth sailing. And this is why it's so important to model that you absolutely can 100% pass it. And of course, it's not like it's a journey. It's never a destination. So, for example, yesterday, I was able to be on the receiving end of a very difficult conversation, a very challenging experience where I was able to hold my own and be present and not react. But even after in that space of non-reaction, I had to step away and I had to cry it out. And I have to like do those things. Like we have to honor both. Like, yes, like we are strong enough as these spiritual beings to do this. And we 100% can honor and experience all of our emotions. And what I always share in my curriculum is that feeling your feelings does not block your manifestations. It's what you're thinking as you're feeling. So, pushing away an emotion is not helpful. But if you have an intense emotion and you're attaching a disempowering story to it, that's what can kind of get you into trouble. And it's so funny that you shared about like having these moments where you're really up and then you're really down. I've coined that term rock bottom manifestation, where you can get yourself out of like this really difficult space and like skyrocket up. But the work is developing this sense of worthiness and healing to where you can stay there and not like self-sabotage it in some way, because there's this underlying programming that's saying like, you're not good enough, you don't deserve this. And so then we act out to play that pattern out.
So I'm glad you said that because, 2 years ago, by the way, my middle name is Dwayne. So I'm like 6'2". So I say I'm the rock's little brother, the pebble. Okay. That's my nickname in the spiritual world. Okay. So I say that to say 2 years ago, I barely knew I was a Taurus. My birthday's 4/20. I didn't own any crystals. I didn't own any chakra. I didn't own anything like that. And so to hear like literally like to hear you say that in the evolution of how far we've come, I didn't even know what the hell a dark night of the soul is or a Mercury in retrograde, but this whole year has felt like a dark night of the soul. I say that to say, guys, if you're listening to this message, and this year for a lot of us has been an absolute shit show. Most of us that have awakened, we realized we already saw the plan last year or 2 years ago when we started awakening, that we were going to open these healing centers. We were going to massively awaken the world. And we knew everything, no matter how bad our life's been, everything was always okay. Even if we were broke, homeless, starving, it didn't matter. We were generally always taken care of. We worried for nothing. It was okay. So this is the message that I want to give. When you're going through it, like for me, for example, this year, I lost a business. I went through a breakup. I bought an Escalade, got my Escalade stolen in 3 months. Literally, it was just, I literally threw my hands up and said, I started laughing, that sinister laugh. Like, I've already been through enough in life. Whoever the show writers are or the source, you're not going to get me to tap out, buddy. You're going to have to try a little bit harder. If the message to me is for anybody who's listening, when you go through that period of time and you realize you've been through the same situation before and you can handle pressure, you smile, gratitude, be thankful for the situation. Watch the magic happen in your life. It's all a test. You're not going to die. Not like when we're infinite beings. That's for me. When you know that, you realize time is infinite. We're here for like literally, we're in human form. Cool. And so, that's kind of the message that I give people is that especially if you're seeing repeating numbers, you're going to have 2022 is going to be the best year of your life. Meagan, have you, I asked this to all my people.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever in your entire life been more excited to go into a new year? Because I haven't. I've
I
never
don't
been.
think so. No. I feel like I'm in a place now. I call it like no branches, where you're literally flying and you have nothing left. No, none of that old fear, none of that old programming, none of those old like three-dimensional jobs for me or toxic relationships. Like I've literally done all of the work to free myself of all of those things. And I'm in a space where I'm literally walking by faith, following my heart in every moment, and it's terrifying and exciting at the same time, and that's truly being present.
Guys, is she making sense? Is she making too much sense? Because I mean, I have these wide, like typically I've been getting, because I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning. By the way, on a side note, my phone's always on. If you're ever up at 3 in the morning, the kids are asleep and you want to go live, because I get Europeans on and they're like super blunt. Like I go live at all different times. That's just a
Okay.
random thing for you. But I like to, because you get these different audiences that need to hear this. They need to hear our voice, Meagan. We can, this is how we effectively break the matrix. Listen, we got to keep it real, guys. And I'm going to say this to say, I'm biracial. I literally am all of you. I told you I've been black, I've been white. I did ancestry. I'm 16% Irish, 15%. I got 18 races. The truth is, I came out and I overcame my fear and I spoke my truth. This is my truth. Nothing bad happened to me. The real people who are going to get the movement going, and I don't mean to bring race up, but you are a hero and you're courageous as a white woman. And I say that to say, I don't even know what you are really, but I say that to say it takes balls to come out in your community and say stuff that not everybody's saying. It takes balls to speak your truth. And this is what happens. This is like literally for us, like this is how the movement gets going, because I've had so many people reach out, doctors, lawyers, entertainers, and you're on the front lines telling your story and coaching people along the way, getting attacked. There's one group of people that always attacks us. You know who they are. They energetically, they look the same. They rig laws, they rig elections, they gaslight us, they make us feel weird and unnormal. And so I say that to say, kudos to you. You're a leader, and I appreciate these conversations. So anyways, I don't even know if I didn't ask you anything, but I just made a statement.
It feels nice to hear that, though. Thank you. And it's
No,
so
I mean,
funny that I love that you bring up race, and it's I want to know how many Starseeds feel this way, because I feel so connected to other star nations that just even like identifying as human has been challenging for me. And then when I'm like, wait, like humans are broken up into different races and different things, and I'm like, I don't like it's challenging sometimes for us as humans to be like, well, why? Like, I mean, why? But it is like a very important conversation, and we really have to be sober in these conversations. That the intention always needs to be unity, because a lot of times, very well-meaning groups or causes or organizations can have that at the beginning, but unknowingly, because of our wounding, can create more separation. So we just need to really make sure that our intention in everything that we're doing is creating that space of unity, that law of one consciousness.
we're all one part of one being. I'm going to tell you how the book of Jonah was bred, because my name is Jonah, like Jonah and the whale, Jonah of Nineveh, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Galveston, Texas, on the island. My mom didn't graduate high school. She ran away from home. She was thoroughly abused for having me. She was thoroughly abused before that. She ran away from home, and my white grandmother drove from Louisiana and offered a black family money to adopt me, because they didn't want any black in the family. I started my walk and talk saying, this happened, but it's about forgiveness. You have to let go of the past. Guys, everybody has done stuff that they're not proud of. Everybody had bigoted thoughts at some point in their life where they were shaped by other people, or we let the dark in. If we don't collectively heal as a world and a society and have these tough conversations and get past it, and I hate to say slavery and all that, you gotta stop. We gotta, it's only forward. It's about solutions now. How can we heal the planet? How can we help the environment? The drug war is the biggest bogus war that known to man, because it should be decriminalized and get people the help that they need. Open treatment centers.
Right.
The healthcare industry. I'm a victim of that. 400,000 in medical bills for my arm almost getting amputated. That's a problem. I mean, they're charging me $250 a piece for ibuprofen.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the criminal justice system, it's most of these systems that we think are divisive by race and all these, it's not about race or gender or what restroom you use. It's about money. $2.4 trillion went to the top 1% last year during the pandemic. There's still high levels of homelessness and poverty. That's a broken system. Our assignment, my assignment, was to wake up the 144 and help to break the matrix. We got to break all of these systems. We know the financial markets are going down. We know, politically speaking, that that Jeffrey Epstein stuff, there's going to be a fallout. We are consciously waking up at this time for a reason, right? Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that you said that your role is waking people up, because I feel like this is why we work so well co-creatively, because you and your platform is like waking people up. And my platform is, okay, you're woken up. Now what? This is what you do. This is where you go. This is how you start living your life. This is, how you are successful outside of the matrix while still sitting in your job, in your 9-to-5, or in your relationship, but undercover, because you're woken up doing all those things.
So I'm glad you said that, because I want to, like, after this, I have to get off this call in 10 minutes, but I want to, we got 10 more minutes, guys. Please give me your best questions. She is amazing, but I want to have another conversation with you because I'm working on a couple of big projects.
I would love that.
We'll have another conversation, but but I say that to say, guys, is she not great? I could listen to her I normally go live for like 3 hours, but I'm building a website, and I'm
absolutely understand.
I got this is a funny thing and a 3D thing. I don't even feel right saying it, but I've been saying it every live. I got top 10, one of the top 10 most eligible bachelors in Houston. So I'm going to wearing a tuxedo this Sunday.
Good for you.
I almost have a 6-pack. I'm 41 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life, mentally and physically. And again, these are certain this thing. It's a 3D. As somebody who was overweight my entire life, I've never worn a tuxedo. It kind of feels cool. I'm gonna go live and I'll probably wear a wig, because that's who I'm goofy as shit. So guys, give me some how to spiritually be where I am awake. I can't. So me and her are gonna create a pipeline, because I get so many people saying, what do I do? Yes, we're gonna do something. Trust me. Guys, give me some. You look amazing, Jonah. Zinni Light. You need to Zinni Light. Y'all are. Zinni is part of my tribe. Zinni's in Minnesota. She's blonde hair, blue eyes. She's out in her community. She's speaking her truth. But she said she just texted in the chat, oh, me and her are gonna be best friends. And I can see. Can you not see all? See, I want to be. When it's so funny to me that I'm in the spiritual world and I'm not dating and anything, because in general, most of my friends are like, I connect way better with women. I'm so in touch with my divine feminine. I like being the non-gay homeboy, not that matters, that gets to hang out with the pretty girls. That's cool. Like, it's all love and light, and it comes from a good place. And this is effectively how we get our message out. That's it. We're normal people having well, we're not normal, but we're having. This is what we talk about. For those of you who are new here, guys, we're real. We spoke our truth and nothing bad happened. That's the message. Next year, we're going to be hosting events in Houston. Houston is going to be a hotspot for spirituality. I'm manifesting that, and I've already seen it. We're going to host big events. I have beaches. We have cruise ships. We're going to do an event for 420. We're going to do an event for 222. This is my life now. We're working with a reality show. We're going to start shooting soon. We're casting. Guys, we got a lot of stuff coming up. And as I can announce more, I will. But the bigger picture is speak your truth. Just tell it. There's nothing bad's going to happen to you. All you starseeds and light workers, if you don't even, because a lot of people don't even know yet. They're not remembering. But what they've said is my voice helps their activation, or I look familiar, or I sound familiar.
Yeah.
And I say, I already got a question for you.
Sure.
So one of my favorite games to play, because I've had many dreams about celebrities that were Starseed, that we were on a ship or something, and we were formulating and plotting. For example, I've made quite a few TikToks about Kanye West. He made a song called Jonah that just came out on his album. That was what triggered my awakening, because I remembered, why the hell did I come here? Nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. He released that album. And then the Travis Scott thing happened. Travis Scott's personal chef came to my store. In October, we hosted an event at my grand opening. I own a CBD and Delta 8 store. He came to my store. We hosted there was all these connections. My mom bought me Yeezys. So my question to you is, first part is, do you believe Kanye West is Illuminati, a starseed, or just a manic bipolar dude that's misunderstood?
Wow, that's a great question. I honestly don't know. I feel like, regardless of what he is, the universe and our higher self will use all sorts of people and experiences to like get our messages through. So, what I would focus on is what that message means to you. And also, it could just show that you are meant to connect with these very high profile people because of your background and your experience. So perhaps a big part of your role is, being that person to wake up these big communities and these people that have a lot of fame or a lot of light, because, who's to say, only that person knows like what their true intention is. There's a lot of false light. There's a lot of people that are, have good intentions, but there is a bigger, darker agenda that takes place a lot of the times, especially in Hollywood or in the media. So I would just invite you to really ponder on like, what is my role in this community, and why am I being connected to these people, and how can I use this platform to inspire them, even if they are like a part of these things that aren't so love and light. Perhaps it's their interaction with you and your message that can shift that.
I'm going to wake him up. He came to me in a dream. I wouldn't even be mentioning this. I've made several TikToks because he came to me in a dream. And that's why I know he's one of us. But here's the thing. I bring up Nikola Tesla, Michael Jackson, people like Prince. These were gifted people that were energetically manipulated. They were special their whole lives. Prince and Michael Jackson tapped out from drugs. They literally abused themselves so much that, because we can't, the only way we get out of here, Robin Williams, like that is a starseed is suicide. And it's not even direct suicide, because you're just, abusing yourself. So I say that to say, we know that there's starseeds. We hear this term a lot, duality. Mm-hmm. And I believe when you stimulate your pineal gland and you're fully, and you awake, you also invite in dark messages, and you could be energetically manipulated. That's just my philosophy. I always like to play this game. Who are the famous starseeds? Kanye West, Kevin Hart, Elijah Wood, Leonardo DiCaprio, Alicia Keys, Gene Aoki. There's so many, and it's not about being a celebrity. It's about, there's people that are working for us behind the scenes, mm-hmm. that are playing both sides. There's a lot of smart starseeds. To break this matrix, you have to be smart, and there's literally and so the only reason that I'm saying that for them to wake up is because they take the movement from 0 to 100, and we can get this show on the road.
Yeah.
And either I want to live like a king on earth, not even a king. I can live in a tiny home in the woods. I don't give a shit. Either let's either get the show on the road, or get me out of here. Let me connect to the source. I'm the happiest that I've ever been in my life, finding my tribe, but we're ready to get this show moving. So yeah. But listen, I literally could talk to you all day, and we're going to I would hope you'd like to schedule another live, or
absolutely. I would love that.
Thank you. I would love that too, because I want to get on IG too at some point.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I'm still tiptoeing around it, but to effectively tell our message, it's time, guys. That's the message here. We're going to keep having these conversations, and people can hear us talk. This is what we talk about. You want to come to the next level? The one thing that gives, not the one thing, a big thing that gives me hope, those same people the last 2 years, because I literally, I don't talk to none of my friends, none of my family. My mom's blocked on everything because she's a negative being. That's just to say, it's okay to love somebody from afar. Yeah, protect your peace, protect 100%. Your energy. It's that important. But I've had those same people that were, oh, he's weird or what, they're starting to come back around. Oh, what's Jonah doing? What are you, oh, you, because what I've been doing is that people that come out and tell their story, hey, I'm a starseed, I see galactic being, whatever it is, I duet them, and then I drop them in my Facebook group that's open to the public, and they see normal people. Because until we start having these tough conversations in the other sites that I prefer not to use, I love TikTok, it's just going to expedite the process of us getting to be on stage and teach and get this show on the road, to constantly to raise the level of consciousness faster, because we want, there's too much negativity.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, and thank you so much for your work and for just being so open and vocal. And what I love too about you, Jonah, is just your openness to highlight and spotlight so many other people, because I think what's so important that we all need to know is that you are affecting more people than you know every day. And, you know, show up for the one, even if you're just starting to make videos and you don't have a lot of views yet, you know, show up for that one person, that one soul that you're awakening is having a domino effect on everyone in this planet. So every voice is needed. Everyone is needed here to affect change.
I literally, I tried to help everybody in the beginning, and I have 1,000 people in it. I literally had 1,000 people in my group chat on Telegram in like a week. And so I had to stop that, because in order for me to effectively help everybody, I have to do it from here, from afar. Because and just like you're a leader. We're building leaders. We're building leaders. So what I want to do is I'll reach out to you a little later. We can exchange some information, because I got some stuff that probably going to excite you, because it excites me. Guys, was this not an amazing? Thank you, Inga. Oh, by the way, I want to introduce you to, we're going to eventually, would you guys like to do a group Zoom with just high level beings? Inga, listen to this. Listen, you want to hear how cool this is? Inga is from Poland. She's from Warsaw, Poland. She was 49 years old. She's born awake. She's born awake her whole life. And so I posted her on my page, but I say that to say, at some point we need to connect with the higher levels, because we got to build leaders and effective. I love your delivery. I love your style. You're an amazing, bright being. And I want to thank you for taking the time out to visit with me. We're going to keep it going. Guys, follow her. Oh, give all your information, your YouTube, how to get with you, coaching, all of that. Get with her right now.
Absolutely. So there's all sorts of ways that you can work with me. It's all in the link in my bio. I have a YouTube channel called Galactic Mermaid Magic. My Instagram is official Meagan Mermaid, and I'm going to be doing a guided ceremony with the Lyrans next Thursday. So you can sign up for that in the link in my bio. So yeah, thank you, Jonah. I feel so honored to be here, and I really look forward to future calls. So thank you again.
I would like you to be a regular, so we'll talk about that. But thank you so much, and enjoy your day. Love and light, and I'll be making some more TikTok.